The Elimination Chamber just became the most stacked, most consequential, most absolutely unmissable premium live event on the entire 2026 WWE calendar. And Suplex Rumble is breaking down every single development right now. The Elimination Chamber is professional wrestling's most visually spectacular and physically punishing match environment. The sheer scale of it, the steel chains, the reinforced walls, the individual pods that trap competitors in anxious isolation while their opponents are already fighting, the unforgiving floor surface that amplifies every impact into something that looks and sounds genuinely painful creates a match atmosphere that no other stipulation in wrestling can replicate. The psychology of the chamber is unique. The strategic element of pod entry order. The physical toll of being the first entrant versus the tactical advantage of being the last. The moments where the steel itself becomes a weapon. The chamber has produced some of the most dramatic, most memorable, most physically extraordinary sequences in WWE history, and every single iteration adds new chapters to that legacy. This year's chamber is positioned to add the most significant chapters in recent memory. And here is exactly why. The announcement that Brock Lesnar has been added to the Elimination Chamber match is the kind of WWE decision that does not require analysis or explanation. It requires a moment of pure, visceral, wrestling fan appreciation for the absolute chaos that this addition guarantees. Brock Lesnar inside the Elimination Chamber is not a new concept, but it is a concept that never loses its power. Because the chamber is the one match environment in WWE that genuinely seems designed to contain and amplify Brock Lesnar's specific brand of total physical destruction. The steel walls do not restrict Lesnar. They focus him. They concentrate everything that makes Lesnar terrifying into an inescapable space where his 5 opponents have nowhere to run, nowhere to recover, and nowhere to hide from the most legitimate physical force in professional wrestling. Think about what Brock Lesnar's presence does to every other competitor in that chamber the moment his addition is announced. Every calculation changes. Every strategy requires revision. Every game plan that was built around the assumption of facing 5 specific opponents now has to account for a 6th participant who operates by entirely different physical laws than everyone else in that structure. The suplex potential inside the chamber is almost too exciting to process rationally. The chain link walls as a suplex destination. The pod glass as a suplex backdrop. The steel floor as the landing surface for German suplexes delivered with Lesnar's signature explosive precision. If you are a fan of Suplex City and Suplex Rumble Nation, absolutely is the Elimination Chamber with Brock Lesnar is essentially a themed destination event. But beyond the pure spectacle, Lesnar's addition carries significant championship implication weight. Whoever enters the chamber as champion or whoever was positioned to win the chamber match and earn a championship opportunity now has to factor in the very real possibility that Brock Lesnar walks out with whatever prize was being contested. And that possibility reshapes every booking conversation, every fan prediction, and every storyline thread connected to this event. The chamber just went from dangerous to nuclear. And we are here for every explosive second of it. Roman Reigns winning inside the Elimination Chamber is a sentence that contains multitudes, because in the landscape of WWE 2026, Roman Reigns achieving anything inside that structure is not simply a match result. It is a statement. A declaration. A reminder delivered through victory that the Tribal Chiefs championship and legacy ambitions are operating at a level that the chamber's brutal environment cannot diminish. Let's talk about what this win means in specific, layered terms, because Roman Reigns' victories inside premium live event structures always carry storyline significance that extends far beyond the immediate result. First, the performance itself. Roman Reigns surviving and winning inside the Elimination Chamber requires the kind of sustained physical excellence across an extended period that separates championship-level competitors from everyone else. The chamber does not give anyone an easy path. It does not accelerate conclusions for the convenience of its participants. Roman Reigns enduring everything that structure and those opponents threw at him and emerging victorious validates his position at the top of WWE's 2026 hierarchy in the most physically demanding possible environment. Second, the positioning. A Roman Reigns chamber victory places the Tribal Chief on a specific trajectory heading toward WrestleMania 42. The championship implications of this win, whether it involves defending an existing title, earning a new championship opportunity, or establishing the terms of a major WrestleMania program, give every subsequent Raw appearance additional narrative weight and purpose. Third, the statement to the locker room. Roman Reigns winning inside the chamber sends a message to every competitor on the WWE roster that was not already receiving that message loudly and clearly: the head of the table is not slowing down. The Tribal Chief is not in a transitional phase. Roman Reigns is operating at full championship capacity, and anyone who is building a program around the assumption of a diminished or distracted Roman Reigns needs to recalibrate immediately and completely. The Tribal Chief won inside the chamber. And the road to WrestleMania 42 just got significantly more interesting as a result. Now to the update that a significant portion of the WWE universe has been following with the specific mixture of concern and hope that only genuine investment in a performer's well-being can produce. The reports coming out around Bronson Reed's situation carry news that is moving in a positive direction, and that positive movement, however incremental and however carefully it must be qualified, is exactly what this community needed to hear. The Australian powerhouse, the man whose tsunami finishing move has become one of the most visually spectacular and physically convincing moments in any Raw broadcast he appears on, is in the process of recovery that, based on available reporting, appears to be progressing. Now, professional wrestling injuries are complex, unpredictable, and require genuine patience from everyone invested in a performer's return. We do not put timelines on recovery out of respect for the process and for Bronson Reed himself. What we can say is that the direction of this update is more positive than the initial injury news suggested, and that is genuinely wonderful to report. Bronson Reed represents the kind of performer whose presence on the Raw roster makes the entire show better. The combination of legitimate physical intimidation, surprising athleticism, and character depth that he brings to every appearance is not easily replaced or replicated. The roster needs him. The WWE Universe wants him back. And based on the available information, that return is a realistic and approaching possibility. Keep sending your support. Keep leaving those encouraging comments. The wrestling community's capacity for genuine human kindness toward its performers is one of the most beautiful things about this fandom, and Bronson Reed deserves every single expression of it. And now AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. The man whose Hall of Fame induction announcement already gave us one of the most emotionally satisfying wrestling news moments of the year, and whose connection to this year's Elimination Chamber adds yet another extraordinary layer to a legacy that keeps finding new ways to expand. Let's talk about AJ Styles and the Elimination Chamber in the context of everything his career represents, because the intersection of these two subjects produces a story with genuine emotional resonance. AJ Styles inside the Elimination Chamber is a specific kind of professional wrestling excellence. The chamber, as we established, rewards not just physical toughness but in-ring intelligence, the ability to read a constantly changing match environment and adapt strategy in real time while simultaneously absorbing significant physical punishment. These are precisely the qualities that have defined AJ Styles' entire career at every level of professional wrestling he has graced. His chamber appearances across his WWE tenure have consistently produced match-of-the-night caliber performances, because AJ Styles in a structured, stipulation environment brings the combination of physical creativity and strategic intelligence that makes every sequence feel both spontaneous and expertly constructed. With his Hall of Fame induction now confirmed, with the permanent institutional recognition of his extraordinary career now officially part of WWE's record, AJ Styles competing in or connected to the Elimination Chamber carries a different emotional weight than it did before that announcement. Every remaining in-ring appearance by the phenomenal one is now framed by the knowledge that we are watching one of the greatest of all time and what may be the final chapters of his active competing career. That framing transforms everything. The stakes feel higher. The victories feel more precious. The physical effort feels more heroic. And the Elimination Chamber, brutal and unforgiving as it always is, becomes the backdrop for what could be some of the most emotionally significant AJ Styles moments the WWE Universe ever witnesses. Phenomenal. Every single time. Right to the very end. Let's zoom out and look at the Elimination Chamber event as a complete entity, because understanding what this premium live event means for WrestleMania 42 is essential to understanding why every development we discuss today carries the weight that it does. The Elimination Chamber has historically served as WWE's final major narrative checkpoint before WrestleMania season reaches its culminating moment. Championships change hands or are defended with increased conviction. WrestleMania matches get officially confirmed through chamber results. Career trajectories are permanently altered by single nights of chamber competition. The Elimination Chamber is not a standalone event, it is the penultimate chapter of a story whose final pages are written at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns winning inside the chamber means his WrestleMania 42 positioning is coming into clear focus. The championship landscape after his victory creates specific, narratively compelling pathways to the grandest stage of them all. Brock Lesnar's chamber involvement combined with Gunther's public challenge and Oba Femi's escalating presence means the WrestleMania 42 card is assembling around a convergence of generational forces that has not existed on a single event card in recent WWE memory. Bronson Reed's potential return timeline puts him in range of a WrestleMania moment that would serve as one of the most emotionally resonant comebacks the event could